Hey everybody, I'm back. All right, hope everybody had a great weekend. This is where I left off on Saturday. Just kind of giving new life to old photos. Uh, it's one of the advantages of digital is that we can bring back some old photos. I've been doing photography since the early 80s, the early 1980s, and of course, most of that was film. But as you know, uh, negatives degrade over time, and we as best as I could store them. I was young and doing a lot of traveling, so I would store them in hopefully good condition, but not all survived and not all made it through unscathed. They do degrade over time. So this was what I was working on the other day was the Soviet Union back when it was Soviet, the USSR, as opposed to what it is today, Russia. And I was working on some of the photos there, trying to bring them to life. So let me actually, before I do that, I'll show you. That's one of them. It's better than it was. This was the original, and this was what I brought it back to life with. Uh, this one, that was the original there, and I think that's a bit better of a photograph. So just going to play with some more old photographs and see what I can do to enhance them. Just really liked this. The very Russian look. Everybody's wearing the Russian hat. And yes, I did bring one home. But, kind of a fun photograph. Don't know that I'm going to do anything with it. This one I really like, just because it's, it's a little distorted, so we can see if, we can undistort it. But it actually it's actually not a bad photograph, considering it was from a long time ago. I'm going to hit auto and see if we can. It did okay. It's still a little bent, and I'm not super happy with that. But, ooh, that was awful. Yeah. Not a lot I can do there because, ugh, not a lot I can do there because it's it is what it is. I don't know what lens I was using. This was back in 1983. Undoubtedly using my very first camera, which I have up on the shelf there, the Olympus OMG. I know, what a great name, right? Olympus OMG. Not a lot I can do to straighten that out. And you can see that the negative is very, very scratched here. So I'm actually going to hold off on that one because that one will, I'll put a flag on it, but that one will take quite a bit more doing, quite a bit more than I'm prepared to do today. The last one I was working on was this one, and I don't think I quite finished it. Get rid of that. I wanted to bump up the clarity a little bit. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take this back into sharpen and let it sharpen up a little bit. The people are not going to sharpen, but the focal point is the picture of Lenin. So yeah, I do like that. I do like that a little better. I don't necessarily like it everywhere. I'm going to do, let's try out of focus. All right. Let's try the next one up. Oh, that's interesting. Looks like he has something on his eye. Yeah, when I do when I do the out of focus, he's got something weird going on with his eye there. That's, oh, I see. Okay, well, yeah, I'm not happy with that. All right, so let's try a softer one. No. That's better. I'll have to take it in to Photoshop just to correct that image right, that piece right there. So with older photographs, it does take a little bit more doing to get something, to get photographs, you know, to where we want them. You know, we're talking about, especially something like this, it's a 40-year-old negative. I was really just a child. I'm gonna make that way smaller. Even smaller than that. Okay. And it does take a lot of doing to make corrections. And that's a bit better. Yeah, honestly, I think that's really, oh, actually, you know what? Let me go up to the top. Because I don't like what it's doing there. Whoops. And I just want to blur a little bit. I can make my blur quite a bit bigger. Really like this mouse, and it just, it's got a left and right scroll, horizontal scroll, which is just really cool. Very handy in Photoshop. When you've got your photograph up big, it's really very, very handy. So it's got vertical scroll, of course, with the regular mouse scroll, but then it's also got a a horizontal scroll, which is pretty cool. All right, let's bring that back. I can make it a little bit, whoa, that's too big. And that's better. So it just took some of the oddness from the sharpening and the defocus, it took some of that out, which was good. And I'll save that. Yeah, much better. So I will go ahead and flag and star, and I will export that as Lennon's Tomb. Lightroom's being temperamental. There we go. All right, let me see if there are any others that I want to play with here. You know, bearing in mind, again, these are super old photographs. Yuri Gagarin. I took this one for my dad, actually. My dad was in the U.S. space program, so that was fun for me to get that to him. Yeah, some of the slides, some of the negatives are just too degraded. I just really liked all these Russian men standing around. This was another fun one of the Kremlin. This one is actually probably a little bit clearer, and yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bring this into Luminar Neo to get rid of the scratches. Erase, and I'm going to bring that way up, and then I can do that. No, can't do Control Z here or use my undo button. Have to do it manually. All right, so I'm gonna have to do this a little bit slower, a little bit at a time. Does not seem to be doing too good of a job. This might be a job better for Photoshop. So I'm going to close this and bring it into Photoshop, see if I can do a better job there. It's good to know the limitations of certain programs. Not, you know, not every program is going to be able to do everything. This is kind of a, you know, specialized thing, so we'll see if it's better here. Whoops. So I grabbed the wrong one. Yeah, even, ooh, did not want to do that. Good old Basil. And it doesn't have to be perfect because I will add a sky in, but it needs to be at least decent. Yeah, it's definitely having trouble. The smaller brush helps a bit. And here I'm going to make it very small so that we don't lose the detail. And I can just get the scratches. I don't like how it worked there. Tell you, this left undo button is great. It's the left button that it's programmed automatically for Control Z in this mouse. Love it. Beasel's really losing his mind. I'm guessing his best friend is in the backyard or across the fence. And I'm doing really as much as I can do to get rid of the scratches. I see there's a scratch down here. You know, had I been an archivist instead of a 16-year-old kid, it would have been a little bit easier. Maybe I would have had them stored better, but it is what it is, and this is true for most of us, especially photographs. If we've been doing photography for a long time, we're going to have these old photographs. Some of us old timers that are unfortunately, the negatives are in degraded shape, and we have to do the best we can to get that fixed. All right, that's better. That is much better so far. Oh, actually, I see a couple more spots. The bad part about film is it does degrade. Not a lot we can do about it. liking this mouse. Super, super easy to edit with. I can see why it's rated the way it is for photo editing. Okay. So, it's better for now. Take it back to Lightroom. All right, now comes the real test. Let's take it into denoise. Not bad. Not bad at all. Original and denoise. I'm going to try severe noise just to see. I would think I like the low light noise better. No. I think the low light noise is probably the best. I'm thinking. And some color noise reduction too. No. I won't do that. Okay. Good for now. It's improving. That's where we started out. That's where I am right now. So already quite a bit of improvement. We're still going to have a bit more work to do here. So develop. Dehaze that a little bit. Bring up the exposure a drop. Now I'm going to go into my HSL color and work on these turrets. So I want that gold to really pop. So I'm going to bring up the yellows and oranges and have that gold pop. Then I've got some green in there that I want to lift up a bit. And definitely that blue, the blue on that central turret there. I want to bring that up. And even bring up a touch of red for the building. All right, so now we've made those colors pop a little bit more. Now, I see that there's still some more noise there, so I'm going to take it back in and see if I can't get rid of a little bit more noise a second go around. Because it is gonna, it's editing it with my previous edits. So that is the original. I'm gonna try severe noise. That is better. Okay, so again, where I started out and where I'm at now. Now we need to add some sky in there because the sky that's in there is, you know, a typical Russian winter day. Very, very gray and drab. Doesn't come out too well in a photograph. So now I'm going to bring it into Luminar Neo and put in a better sky just to give the photograph a bit of, you know, oomph, should we say. I could also sharpen this a bit, which I don't want to do it that way. Nope. Let's see if AI Enhance can do it. Not really. A little bit. Not much. No, that didn't do much either. Tell you what, I'm going to do one other thing first. Before I do the sky, I am going to bring it into Topaz Sharpen, just to see if the standalone improves the sharpness. And if not, it's okay. We can go with an ethereal look, but I'm going to give it a shot. Didn't do much. Nope. Gonna keep it the way it was. All right, so now I am gonna go back into Neo and work on the sky. Always edit with the adjustments. And go into sky. No, do not like it. Could work. I think that works a little better. Make sure to close the gaps. That brings all of these details up to the forefront, keeps the sky in the background. And got to be careful with global. Okay, and we'll fix any details that there are. defocus the sky a little bit, not too much. You see that it got rid of well, it covered up. Now, I didn't really want to do that with the scratches there, but getting rid of the scratches, even though there were still imperfections there, it was able to cover those up. The scratches, not so much. So good there. Okay, so lot of improvements. Again, a 40-year-old negative, it's not going to be the same as a digital shot with my Z6 II Nikon today. It's just not. But for what it is, and it's not something that I want to lose, because it's, again, part of that my cultural photography is capturing moments in time. This is never going to happen again. This Soviet era, these Soviet era photographs. That's done. So it's kind of fun to play around with them and preserve what I can. So this was what I had originally from the negative, and this is what we brought it up to. And I can go ahead and play with the luminance a little, and saturation a little bit more on some of those colors. Like the green, I'd like to bring up the green here. Just a little bit. Oh, sorry, that was aqua. Bring up the green a little bit. And bring up the blue a little bit more. Just to get that. Whoa. Just to get that in there. And then the golds. I think that's good with HSL. Get a little bit more clarity. Not too much. Lift some of the shadows. And I think that's as good as we're going to get it. It's an old photograph. I do actually want to take it back down to HSL and actually get rid of some of that blue, because it is making the sky a little blue. Now I could mask, but it really doesn't, it's not necessary. All right. and I am good with that one. I'm actually not going to start it because I don't know that I'm going to export it at the moment. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to work on from this particular set. Ah, there I am. Sideways. All right, so I'm going to go into another one. Pics from negatives. Ah, my grandfather. That's my grandfather in the photo booth. He invented. Ah, back in the good old days. I really like this photograph. It's another one that just was a moment in time. I like photographing the elderly and children as well. The character, the faces, you can't beat it. And this one luckily is not too degraded or scratched. That's before and that's after. So we just got rid of some. Oh, I see a couple more scratches. That's what happens when I don't enlarge it. There's a couple scratches on the pigeon here. Oh, there's another one. And I see one on her jacket. Okay, that's better. All right, now take it into denoise. I mean, it's also film grain, but I like, see if, ooh, and it's crashing again. Every once in a while, denoise crashes. Whoops. This time I did it. Okay. So original. Much better. Gonna try that. Make this bigger. Once again, I think I like the standard the best. Oh, that's actually good. Yeah, the clear worked the best. Okay. Mm-mm. Let's bring that zoom to fit so we can get a true picture. That's a bit better. Don't want to make it too sharp. I think that just that little bit, just a touch. You know, this photograph also might be fun in black and white. I think I'm going to make a copy and do one in black and white. I like the, since it's film, I like the older feeling to it with film. There's a couple of spots I want to adjust in Photoshop. Right there. They were bugging me. Those little dots on the bird taking away from the little girl's face. And her face and her reaction with the birds. Just not even a flinch at the fact that the bird is sitting on her head. Grab the wrong radio button there. Actually going to change the orientation of this. Just to bring the little girl more into focus here. I don't want to do too much else with this. I really like it in black and white. I mean, the color is kind of cool, but this photograph really lends itself to black and white. You like the grain? Oh, hey, Studley Penguin. You like the grain? I was using an OMG. This is a 40-year-old negative. Yeah, I know. Some people love. I don't like grain. I know it's weird. There is still some grain there, but just not a big lover of grain. I mean, I'm leaving a little bit of grain in there, but there really was a lot of grain, and the negative itself had quite a bit of degradation. It had a couple of scratches, which I fixed as well. Um, yeah, it's really a hard one to. It's a hard one to you know decide on. To grain, no grain. Um, but I think I'm going to leave it as is. I do like it better than the color photograph. The color photograph is cool, but to me it's a little bit more dramatic in black and white. And I'll go ahead and export this one. Choose another folder. There we go. And this one is Feed the Birds. It's fun to play with old photographs and see if we can bring them to life. I mean, this is a 40-year-old negative that I took. I know, how could I possibly have a 40-year-old negative? Yeah, right. Uh, so, yeah, you know, it is what it is, but, you know, still able to do something with it. That's Castle Urquhart on Loch Ness. Been there a few times. That's one of my favorite photographs of my mom and her best friend in Edinburgh. Another fun photograph. It's like walking down memory lane. Jumping back into another day and time. But just to show you on that photograph, this is what I started out with. And that's the finish. So best I could do with considering. All right, I'm gonna go into another area that I used film. Oh, this one was fun. Got some Annapurna back there. You know what? I tried Gigapixel. I always forget what Gigapixel really does. Zoom to fit. This was in Nepal. I did a decent job. Definitely want to dehaze that. So that is in Nepal, and that is Annapurna, um, um, part of the Himalaya in the background. And I see I do have a little bit of a spot there. But I can also crop this a bit more. Okay. Still not a big fan of the heavy grain. To me, this is a lot of grain. Ugh. No, that's. Mm-mm. Clear. Nope, don't like any of those. I am going to flag this and come back to it. Not sure what I want to do with it. That was my sister. This is one that I really, really liked. Love this photograph of this little girl. And it's automatically going to make a copy, so I don't need to do anything there. I'm going to take it into denoise. I know, Steadily Penguin, Miguel, you like the grain, and I'm only doing a copy just to um, see what happens. Well, that didn't take away all the grain. Yeah, I do like that. And actually, I'm going to take this into Luminar Neo because Neo's got some nice portrait um, enhancements. Nothing much. Didn't really have much in there for this particular photograph. Okay. This was another view of the Himalaya. And that's vignetting it too much to do the dehaze. Even exposure is vignetting it. And even contrast is vignetting it. Some are just too degraded to really do too much with. Luckily, I have most of these printed out, so they're, they're safely tucked away. This is prior to the earthquake in Nepal. Get rid of that bland sky. There's just a little bit of sky there, but it's very bland looking. A little better than the drab sky. Now I do need to bring it into Photoshop just to get rid of some of those scratches that I see. And I'll make that bigger. And there we go. So again, using a very small brush to get rid of these scratches. These are scratches from the negative, old negatives, you know, transported, kept in storage, mistreated. That was one area that I needed to fix, and that was that spot right there. That's a little better. I think oh, not what I wanted to do. Let me save that, and I think I'm going to do a couple more things to it. I'm going to bring it into sharpen, just for giggles, to see if it's going to do what I want it to do. Not really. Well, that's a little better. No. That's a little better. Didn't want to do too much. And then one last thing I'm going to do is bring it back into Photoshop, but this time I'm going to actually blur the background a little bit. Very, very minor amount. I've got it on 19. Just blurring it a little bit. Nothing too much. think I'm good with that. I've since taken another photograph similar to this, but this one did win an award. This is the Palace of the Winds in Jaipur. And I do have a digital version of that. Ah, yes. Love this photograph. Now I'm going to keep the grain in this one. You'll be happy, Miguel. I'm going to keep the grain in this one just because it really needs it. Um, Oops. I want to export it. And that is in Rajasthan. I forgot how much fun it is to go back sometimes and look at old photographs that you took a long time ago, and work on them. Now, I'm gonna try and see what denoising this one does, just for giggles. Yeah, I really like it. Because I'm getting the character and the lines in his face on this one. Being this is a facial portrait, I really like that much better. Here's the original, and here's denoised, and it really enhances his face. I've still got the film grain on his shirt and what have you, but now I can really see the wrinkles and the character and that smile. And actually, I might get rid of I'm going to take it into Neo and maybe get rid of those power lines. It should just be able to do that in one quick flick of a switch. Remove power lines. Let's see if it does it. that did a decent job. I just get rid of the rest of them. Usually does a little bit better job doing that, removing those, but that's all right. That is the problem with the erase features. There we go. Okay. So got rid of the, whoops, got rid of the power lines. Now I am going to go into the portrait mode here. Um, just give it a slight bokeh. Don't want too much. Yeah, I like that better without the power lines. So just looking at the original, there was that, and taking it to this. Not a lot of changes, just cleaning it up really for the most part. There were a couple of other really fun ones. Oh, that was fun. Wasn't fun at the time. Very narrow road. Yeah, you can see down below that. That was going from Nepal to India. There was a wedding going on. I believe this tower crumbled in the earthquake, if I'm not mistaken. Very, very famous tower for people, you know, sitting there and enjoying the day, passing the time. Yeah, this is one of my favorites. Uh, a grandmother and her grandchild. Uh, Luckily, again, I do have a print of this one, but I'm going to see if I know, Miguel, you like the film grain, but I'm going to see if I can't do some denoising, a little bit of denoising on that. Just a touch. Yeah, there we go. Now we've got the softness of the baby's face, as well as still the character of the grandmother. There's with the noise, and there's without the noise. I think that just really highlights the baby's face. So not too much, just a little bit. And I'm happy with that. So we just went from that to that. Just a little better, a little clearer. You have to kind of, you know, weigh the, you know, film grain versus noise issue. Um, Not always an easy one. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do anything on that one. I'm gonna hold off. This one's funny. This is just in Jaipur. The elephants, monkeys. Oh, this one was a blast. Um, the elephant was stopped at the stoplight, and yeah, he was making a right turn. It's in the right-hand lane. Yeah, now he has a green arrow. Love this photograph. Love the looks on their faces. They're just they're happy. Especially that one kid with a genuine smile. That kid. So that's with the grain and the noise, and I prefer it a little clearer, just a touch clearer. Still have film grain in there. All the film grain is gone, but just a little bit clearer. Rajasthani family. Really fun to go back and look at old photographs, ones I did in film. Haven't done this in ages. Forbidden City. This one's kind of fun. So denoised it, but now I'm going to take it into Luminar Neo. Give it some sky. Give it a bland sky. Needs a bright blue sky. A lot of pollution, a lot of air pollution there, so also with film, it really detects it. Let's see how that looks. All right. I'll make it a little bit warmer. Close any gaps, make sure we get everything to the back. All right, so there it is. That's how we started, and this is where we're at. Already better. I am going to straighten that out, which that did very easily. I'm going to lift some of the shadows, not a little too much, a little too much. All right, I'm good with that. I'm not going to export it right this minute. Looking for a particular photograph that I don't know if it's in this grouping. Oh, this was fun. Pumping gas. Pumping gas, anyone? By hand, yes. That was weird. That was very strange. Love the tusks on that elephant. And it crashed, of course. Now I gotta go back and find it. There we go. Try this again. Ugh. Noise, you're giving me trouble. Try it again. It's going to make a copy every time I do this. So I can get rid of those later. Ah, it worked. Okay, finally. A little bit better. It'd be nice if the face was a little clearer, but that is not to be. One of the things I do want to do is go into HSL color and take out some of the green. Elephant's looking a little green. Sorry, bring back the natural color. All right, still not finding the one photograph that I'm looking for. Kind of a bummer. Oh, this was a wedding procession. It was very cool. Very cool to see that. I actually like this photograph. I do remember it. But while I can't crop it, I can remove the faces that are in the way. The little face there can stay. It's a cute little face hiding there. And I'll get rid of this pole. So now I'm going to take this into Luminar Neo and get rid of the power lines. Hopefully it'll be able to do that. It says it can. I've seen it done. I've seen it do it. We'll see if it can do it here. Remove power lines. Just thinking about it. Didn't really do a good job. So, didn't do it at all. So I will leave those. And cancel. But I will take it into denoise. I mean, film grain is fine. I prefer when there are faces involved not to have the film grain. Actually, before I do that, I'll go ahead and crop it a little bit. I can crop some of those power lines out. It's gonna do it. Yeah, I like that better. I mean, it has, let me go with clear. I like this just like it is. Oops. What am I doing? Still haven't found the photo I was looking for. But it's fun. I keep seeing old photographs that I've taken that just, remind me, oh yeah, I wanted to work on that and improve that a bit. Oh, I think the kids were flipping us off in this one. Yeah, they were. This was kind of a fun one. I'm not going to work on it right now. Also fun. I love this photograph. I have a nice print done of this one. Did it again. Keep finding all these photographs that I've taken before, and wanted to get to someday. Well, now it's someday. But still haven't found the one I'm looking for. It's a little girl sitting on a cart. And I'm pretty sure it is in this batch. Could be wrong. Yeah, that's another one I really like. It's really nice as a female photographer when you're in places like India. Um, Women will allow you to take pictures of them because you're a female, whereas men can't always get the shot. So sometimes there is an advantage to being a female when you're a photographer. Still not the one I'm looking for, but I have new tools to help repair this, so I'm going to go ahead and take these in. scratches. I think that's it. It's a little better. Let's try too soft. It's more that it was too soft. They're not really out of focus. Still not the photograph I was looking for. Like finding old ones that I had, and I've actually had them in print. Um, just fun, kind of redoing that. This one I don't want to touch because this one needed the film grain, so I'm going to leave that one as is. And there wasn't noise, that was just film grain. Some of the negatives were kept in a very good spot, and some were not. So just to show you what happened with this photograph, this is the degradation of that photograph, or this one. Actually, this may have been a different one. Well, I think it was the same one. That was the degradation of that photograph, and I was able, with the tools, to bring it back, which was nice. This was really cool. I wished the barbed wire was not here. Now, just for giggles, I'm going to bring it into Luminar Neo and see if I can't get rid of that barbed wire. And if it can't do it on its own with the AI, then I'm not going to bother because it's too much work for it. Hit remove power lines and see what happens. No, it couldn't do it. All right, that's fine. It's, you know, it was a shot. Really wish I had that photograph of the little girl sitting. I do somewhere. I just don't know in what folder it is. It may be in a different folder. Well, it should be in this one, but should and are two very different things. Yeah, I really like this photograph too. I'll come back to it later. This is on the River Ganges, which I have been back to and I have other photographs of. This was in Varanasi. The sunrise on Varanasi. Ah, there it is. There she is. Was in here. Okay, so there are two shots here. There's this one and this one. Oh, this looks like I had maybe edited some of this one. No, it is a different photograph. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this one. I crop it down just a touch, just to bring her more in. We still have the taxis on the side. Try this one. Yeah, that's better. Just took out some of the noise, while still leaving the integrity of the photograph. Okay, so that's before, and that's after. So there's still some grain there, but it's not too noisy. Sometimes it just, because of the film and it being quite old, the photograph and the negative, it will tend to do that. I'm going to bring up the shadows a little bit. And also dehaze a little bit. So we still have plenty of film grain there. It has definitely not taken it all away. All right, that's the one I was looking for. I knew I'd get to it eventually. Have some bright color there. Oh, it's better. She's enhanced just a little bit. Not sure about that one. I'll flag it. This is kind of a fun, just day in the life of a mahout. I just really like this. There's no tourists. It's just the guys hanging there waiting. Let's see. Beautiful painting on the elephants. Not the best thing for these elephants. I believe much more in conservation and not using animals for things like this, but this was the early 90s. When we didn't really think of these things quite as much as we do now. And luckily we've learned. They still do use the elephants to bring people up to the palace. When I was there, I walked. This last time I walked. I did not use an elephant. All right. Well, let me star and flag. And export that. All right, I'm gonna go and see how some of these look. These are people. These are some other photographs I've done of people. Oh, here's another one. Those same children, I think. No, no, no. Is it? Yeah, it is those same children. Just a different perspective. I think I did that one before and named it Grandmother and Child. Funny enough. No, I didn't. All right, I'm just hallucinating. It happens. I do occasionally. Okay. I'm going to stop here because I'm going to move on to doing something else tomorrow, uh, some other type of editing tomorrow. So I will stop here and thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. I appreciate you following, you all following. I appreciate you uh, being here and see you tomorrow. Thanks much.